How? I'm very glad to talk to you about AnyLingo. That is my objective, to show you that there is a new, better way to learn a language. So now let me start my demonstration. AnyLingo is a revolutionary language learning because it combines three revolutions. It uses self-personalized AI-based lessons, subconscious training, and guided self-learning that eliminates forgetting and cross-translation. What are the main features of AnyLingo? I mentioned them briefly above, but now let me explain them. Self-personalized AI lessons. Probably you never heard about self-personalized lessons. You heard a lot about AI personalized lessons. And a lot of teachers believe that AI personalized lessons is a great achievement and a great advantage. I am against it because AI personalized lessons require conscious learning or memorization. AI personalized lessons are given as instructions to be memorized. Now, self-personalized lessons have a completely different nature. Learners create self-personalized lessons by writing artificial intelligence queries that reflect their current level in the target language, interests, and vocational needs. The objective is to create a more engaging, effective, and efficient learning experiences that allow implicit learning and are instrumental in developing fluency in foreign languages, since they eliminate forgetting and cross-translation problems, which are typical for AI-created personalized lessons. It may be difficult to grasp immediately the difference between AI personalized and self-personalized. But then I will demonstrate this in action and you will understand it better. Now, the second feature or the second main component of AnyLingo, subconscious training. All traditional methods of teaching and learning English are based on conscious learning. AnyLingo creates environment for subconscious training through simultaneous reading, listening, and speaking. Subconscious training mimics how children learn their native language, focusing on automatic communication rather than remembering explicit rules. Instead of corrective feedback, subconscious training emphasizes positive reinforcement and implicit feedback through regular fluency rate testing. Why it is very difficult for teachers to understand the difference between conscious learning and subconscious training. Why we are talking about three actions done simultaneously: reading, listening, and speaking. It was never done before because if we perform only one or two actions, that is, you are in the class, you are listening to a teacher. You are reading and listening. It's always conscious learning. Conscious learning has a very limited memory capacity. You are doomed to forget because conscious learning is for acquisition of knowledge. But language is not a knowledge, it's a skill. Language, it would be very interesting to imagine that language, like a muscle, it should be trained. Now, let's consider about our third, let's talk about our third component, guided self-learning. Guided self-learning revolutionizes education by placing learners in control, offering a more efficient alternative to both human and AI-driven tutoring. This method empowers individuals to direct their own learning experiences, enhancing long-term retention through implicit subconscious training. The self-learning revolution is essential for navigating the demands of the modern job market where continuous learning and upskilling are critical. So those are the main features of the AnyLingo and how it works. It uses AI-powered personalization, subconscious training. I just repeat flow speech fluency testing. Now, key benefits. It eliminates forgetting and cross-translation. It works for any alphabet-based language, so you can learn using the same AnyLingo web application to learn English or to learn Vietnamese or to learn Spanish or French. Any language can be used, can be learned by using AnyLingo web application. It is suitable for all learner levels. You will get free access to this web application, which is built with artificial intelligence, namely Manus.im platform was used to build this web application. And now let me to show and demonstrate web application in action. This is AnyLingo application, and if you will use this website, you will get free access, permanent access to AnyLingo to learn English much faster because you use new pedagogy, you use new approach. Now, what is interesting that AnyLingo comes with 0 lessons and possibility of creating unlimited number of lessons. Mm-hmm. Those lessons are created by learners or by teachers, and they reflect the level, your current language level, your interest, your vocational needs, and I will show you how to start. So you see here, those are action buttons, and the first one is create a new lesson. When you click on create a new lesson, here you see these windows, lesson title and lesson content. You put here lesson content, which is a result of a query which you write in any AI which you use. Maybe Gemini, it may be Copilot, it may be DeepSeek, whatever AI you use, you can create a query there to create your lesson. For example, if I have created already one lesson, and if I click on the content, I will see that lesson. I have created lesson based on a legend popular in Vietnam titled The Dragon and the Fairy. So that is the lesson which you can always add another lesson or create your own lesson. On this example of this lesson, I will show you how to use AnyLingo and how your students can use it in the class and at home. What is absolutely remarkable that if you have a class to say with 20 or even 30 students, all of the students will speak permanently. 90% of the class time they will speak in English. And I will show you how it is done. So you have seen the lesson. Now look that we need to apply 5 drills to each lesson which we have created. Here is the button drill exercises. If you click on this button, you see those 5 drills. The first one, I click on the first drill. Listen and follow. Listen to the lesson being read aloud and follow along with the text. This helps with comprehension and pronunciation. Is the first drill. Keep in mind that there are 5 drills. Next would be translate, then read, listen, and speak simultaneously, then record yourself, then develop fluency. Those are 5 drills, and we will show them one by one. So the first one is listen to the lesson being read aloud and follow along with the text. How we do it? Here's the lesson. I highlight this lesson, click on the highlighted text with the left mouse button, and click on Read Next. What you see here is the text. And now I would like you to listen to this text. According to the first drill, you have to read and simply listen. You will understand the context and that it is specially done for beginner English learners. Just listen. I hope you hear the
Lived
voice.
a kind dragon man named Lak Long Kwan.
Do you hear?
He was strong and
Yes.
brave. He lived near the sea and helped the people when they had trouble. In the mountains, there was a beautiful fairy woman named Oko. She loved nature, flowers, and animals. She also helped people. One day, Oko saw a big bird hurt in the forest. She wanted to help the bird. Suddenly, the bird changed into a monster. Oko was afraid. Just then, Lak Long Kwan came from the sea. He fought the monster and saved Oko. She smiled and thanked him. They became friends. Soon, they fell in love and got married. After some time, Oko gave birth to 100 eggs. From the eggs, 100 babies were born. These babies were healthy and smart. Lak Long Kwan and Oko were very happy. They loved their children. But one day, Lak Long Kwan said, "I am from the sea. I cannot live in the mountains." Oko said, "I am from the mountains. I cannot live near the sea." They still loved each other, but they were too different. So they made a plan. Lak Long Kwan took 50 children and went to live near the sea. Oko took the other 50 children and lived in the mountains. They said goodbye with love and respect. These 100 children grew up to become strong and smart individuals. They became the first Vietnamese people. That is why, even today, Vietnamese people say, "We are all children of the dragon and the fairy." A long time ago in Vietnam, there
And you can listen to it a few times, many times, as much as you wish. So that is the first drill. And now let's check what are the other drills. Highlight the second drill. Highlight words or phrases you do not understand, then translate them to your native language. I must here notice that AnyLingo is what is called minimal viable product. That is, it's the first product created by Manus IM, and not all functions work as you see them here, but there always a solution which I will demonstrate to you, and so it makes the whole application fully functional. That is, although there is a button translate, but actually we use, instead of that button, we use Google Translate. What happens here? Look, if we open Google Translate and put the text here, that is on the left side is the English text. On the right side is the text in your native language. And if you click on each sentence, you see the translation into English. So if your students have different levels, some of them may have enough vocabulary and will understand it immediately. Some may not. So they have to make the text comprehensible, that is understandable through using direct translation. If you choose any sentence here, you see the translation. In this way, you can prepare and understand the whole text in English, right? Then, when you have done this and you know all the words, you cannot produce them automatically, but you understand what they mean because you have done these translation drills. After you made this lesson comprehensible, we go to the next drill, the most important drill. So here is the drill 3, the most important drill. This is the foundation, the main drill in the AnyLingo web application. Read the text aloud at the same time as the audio plays. That is, you have to read, listen, and repeat. This will automatically activate your subconscious mind and will help you develop fluency and automaticity. Let me show how would be done.
May I add that this technique is like shadowing that we've been hearing a lot. Language teaching.
It is shadowing, but you know, we must be more careful because it's the same difference as between AI personalized lessons. It's not easy to understand from the first appearance. And AI personalized lessons, they look similar, but they have completely different nature. They are so different as, black and white, north and south. Shadowing has nothing to do with simultaneous repetition on the following ground. When you do shadowing, you're doing imposing. Shadowing was used for 100 years, and many teachers use it and consider it a very helpful technique. It is helpful, but shadowing is conscious learning. In shadowing, you have to listen, remember, try to recall, and repeat. It's completely different. You use your consciousness. You control consciously this activity. Although it looks like shadowing, but it's a completely different approach and completely different mechanism. That's why I stress again and again, three actions at the same time are needed to activate your subconscious mind. It's a completely different system, which was never used, practically never used for learning language. And now we want and we can use it for developing fluency. Because you know what happens? Children acquire language subconsciously. They're not consciously aware that they are learning because they automatically use subconscious. Unfortunately, that process built into our nature ends at the age of 12 years. After 12 years, the people forget about this and they consider that they can learn a foreign language consciously. You are as a teacher and you believe that you can teach your students English. You do everything what you know, everything what is possible, and still see not very good results only because of this. Because learners must use their subconscious. When you use your subconscious, you internalize words, grammar, pronunciation. You develop patterns in which you can produce. When you ask people in which language do you think, 100% of people will tell you that I think in English when I speak English, or I speak in native language when I speak native language. But the truth is that this answer is not accurate because we do not think in any particular language. For thinking process, we use a special language which is called language of thought. That language of thought has a scientific name, mentalese, and it was described by Steven Pinker in his book Language Instinct on 500 pages. He had studied it and described to us that we always think in the language of thought, irrespective of how many languages we speak fluently. What that means is that actually our objective to teach or train in language, for example, English, is actually should be different. We have to wire the language of thoughts. Language of thoughts is always consist of symbols and feelings. We have to wire those symbols and feelings in which we think to the words of the target language, in this case native, directly, without cross-translation. All your adult students, when they start, especially beginners, they think in their native language quickly translate into English and try to remember. It's not possible. That's why we need this drill, read, listen, and repeat. And now let me show how it is done. So we highlighted. So you have seen this drill before in the first one, but in that drill, you just listen to get acquainted with the text, with the pronunciation, with everything. Now, the main drill is, and I will demonstrate it. It may sound a little bit confusing, but when you will try it using your own AnyLingo application, you will understand the power of it. So here how it goes.
Dragon man named Lak Long Kwan. He was strong
He
and
was strong
brave.
and brave.
He lived near the sea and
Near
helped the people when they had
when
trouble.
they have trouble.
In the mountains,
In the mountains,
there was a beautiful
there
fairy
was a
woman named
beautiful
Oko.
fairy woman named
She
Oko.
loved nature,
She loved
flowers,
nature,
and animals.
flowers, and animals.
She also helped people.
She also helped people.
One day,
One
Oko
day,
saw a big
Oko
bird
saw
hurt
a
in the
big
forest.
bird in the forest.
She wanted to
She
help
wanted
the
to help
bird.
the bird.
Suddenly,
Suddenly,
the bird
the
changed
bird
into a
changed into a
monster.
monster.
Oko was
Oko
afraid.
was afraid.
Just then,
Just then,
Lak Long Kwan came
Lak
from the
Long
sea.
Kwan came from the
He
sea.
fought the monster and saved
He fought
Oko.
the monster and saved
She
Oko.
smiled and
He
thanked him.
smiled and thanked him.
They became
They
friends.
became friends.
Soon,
Soon,
they fell in
they
love
fell
and
in
got
love
married.
and got married.
After some
After
time,
some time,
Oko gave
Oko
birth to
gave birth to
100 eggs.
eggs.
From the eggs,
From the eggs,
100 babies
100
were
babies
born.
were born.
These babies were
These
healthy
babies
and
were
smart.
healthy and smart.
Lak Long Kwan and Oko were
Lak
very
Long
happy.
Kwan and Oko were
They
very
loved their
happy. They
children.
loved their children.
But one day,
But one day,
Lak Long
Lak
Kwan
Long
said,
Kwan said,
I am from the
I am
sea.
from the sea.
I cannot live
I
in the
cannot live in the
mountains.
mountains.
Oko said,
Oko said,
I am from the
I am from the
mountains.
mountains.
I cannot live
I
near
cannot
the
live
sea.
near the sea.
They still loved
They
each
still
other,
loved each
but
other,
they were
but
too
they were too
different.
different.
So they made a
So they
plan.
made a plan.
Lak Long
Lak
Kwan
Long
took
Kwan
50
took
children
50
and went
children
to
and
live
went
near
to
the
live
sea.
near the sea.
Oko took the
Oko
other 50
took the other
children and
50
lived in the
children and
mountains.
lived in the mountains.
They said goodbye
They
with love
said
and
goodbye with
respect.
love and respect.
These 100
These 100
children grew
children
up to
grew up to
become
become
strong and
strong
smart
and smart
individuals.
individuals.
They became the
They
first
became the first
Vietnamese people.
Vietnamese people.
That is why,
That is why,
even today,
even today,
Vietnamese people
Vietnamese
say,
people
we are
say,
all
we are
children of the
all
dragon
children
and the
of the
fairy.
dragon and the fairy. You do this drill actually many times until first, I mean, your learners do it. What is absolutely fantastic that even if you have in a class 20 or 30 students, each one of them does it simultaneously. Whereas now in the conventional class, they listen mostly, trying to remember what teacher says, or explains about the language, but they do not practice the language. And most importantly, they use a different system of the mind. And this drill activates subconscious and helps them to internalize. So after many repetitions, they will speak it automatically without recording or remembering words.
The difference, you have to activate their subconscious mind to accelerate their learning so that they can internalize their learning, develop their
Yes,
skills.
yes, but there is also another, a few other moments here and options. We teachers believe that we can teach our students how to become fluent. We're trained to this, and we spend years and years, and unfortunately, very often, we see poor results because we still maintain, most teachers believe that they can transfer their knowledge of English to learners. No, they cannot. Now it becomes obvious that learners must learn because you remember I used such a phrase that language is a muscle. It should be trained, not learned. And when the learners do this exercise many times and all other exercises, it's only the third. I will show you on the remaining two more exercises. They will internalize it. So you have to guide them. It's better not to teach. It's better to give them environment, new pedagogy, new approach, and give them an environment in which they can use it anywhere, anytime, 24/7. Not only when they come to your lesson, because it's only a few times a week and then they forget. They doomed to forget because memory is done not to remember a language. Memory has a very different functionality. The main protective mechanism of our memory is to forget, because otherwise we will be overloaded. We would not be able to function. And we do this mistake for 100 years. So now you understand that we need a new approach. And this web application is very easy to use. It's very easy to teach with it, very easy to create lessons, and lessons which are interesting, which are live. And when you repeat it 10, 12, 15 times, you will speak it automatically. You understand it now, right?
Yeah, I got it now.
Okay. Okay. And of course, it's the first time, so it's not easy, but still, you understand it. And now let's see what we have else. Drill 4, record yourself. It's important that you can record yourself, then play recording and compare. It gives you a motivation because you hear that you can do it, that it's easy to do. Let me just give you an example. So here is drill 4. When I click on this button, a long time ago in Vietnam, there lived a kind dragon man named Lot Long Quang. He was strong and brave. He lived near the sea and helped the people when they had trouble. In the mountains, there was a beautiful fairy woman named Oko. She loved nature, flowers, and animals. She also helped people. One day, Oko saw a big bird perched in the forest. She wanted to have the bird. Suddenly, the bird changed into a monster. Oko was afraid. I'll stop recording and now let's listen. I click on this button. A long time ago in Vietnam, there lived a kind dragon man named Lot Long Quang. He was strong and brave. He lived near the sea and helped the people when they had trouble. In the mountains, there was a beautiful fairy woman named Oko. She loved nature, flowers, and animals. She also helped people. One day, Oko saw a big bird perched in the forest. She wanted to have the bird. Suddenly, the bird changed into a monster. Oko was afraid. We have covered the 4 drills now. You understand that everything here is developed. I developed this application came to the final solution after 30 years of research. And it is actually protected by 2 USA patents and is easy to teach and easy to learn. Your students will show fluency, can become fluent in English in about a year. Now, the fifth drill, develop fluency, is something which you probably never heard before. Low speech fluency testing is the drill number 5, and I have to explain what is new here. First of all, you definitely know that fluency is measured by hundreds and hundreds of different applications, and you know that if you want to continue education in a foreign country, you have to pass standardized English tests, and there are plenty of them, and all standardized tests will show finally the fluency or fluency rate, how many words per minute you can produce. But there's a big difference. As, as always, with my application, everything is actually resolved differently. Not conscious learning, but subconscious training. Not standardized testing, but flow speech fluency testing. And what is the difference? In every known standardized testing, mainly you are asked questions and you have to respond, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And in my opinion, it is wrong. Why it is wrong? Because you have to think about the question. You have to recall something. You have to analyze. You have to make a conclusion and then to speak about it, which means that English standardized test measures your cognitive ability first and fluency secondly. It means that the standardized tests are actually not accurate because they are heavily dependent on cognitive abilities. I invented, and it is a part of my patent, a new type of testing which eliminates impact of cognitive abilities. How it is done? There are 2 types of dictionary in this application. One is 3,000 most common words, English words. Another is custom lesson text. Depending on which you choose, you will be shown 20 words on the display, and your objective is to speak on something from your experience which was ignited by that word. You have to speak about 20 seconds, and then the next word appear on the screen, and you speak again about 20 seconds. Totally, you have to respond in such a way to 20 words. So in about 10 minutes, you can measure fluency, which is more accurate because you can speak from your experience. In this case, you don't need to think. You just remember it and speak automatically. By the way, even cross-translation not possible. You will see it when I will show you the low speech fluency test in action. Now, I would like you to make a choice. What you want to test first, the custom lesson text or 3,000 most common words? What is your choice?
Let's choose the 3,000 most common words. Please.
The first one.
Yes, the first
This one.
Yes.
3,000 most common words, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So now we start fluency test. We grant microphone is in use. And now you see the first word, victim. I will give you an example of it first, and then you maybe a few examples, and then you will try to do it on your own to understand how it is done. Okay? So first you have to start recording, click on start recording, and remember that you have to speak about 20 seconds or more. Victim. Victim is a person who has suffered from somebody's actions, and the legend which was selected for our first lesson describes two people, Dragon Man and Fairy Woman, who were always ready to help victims, to help anybody. Stop recording and next word. When you do speech fluency testing, there is no way to say what is correct or what is not. Because what we do here, we just measure your ability to speak. So anything what you say is correct. Everything what comes to your mind must be expressed automatically. That's how we measure fluency. And by the way, at the end, when the fluency would be measured, we would have also corresponding serve levels, which will tell you at which level you or your students are. When I see the word channel, I always remember British channel because when I first was abroad and I came to England, I was fascinated by those people who tried to swim across the channel. And there were a few people who did it successfully. A few days ago, I was in a fitness club and I saw a man collapse because he was probably overheated. I came to help him immediately. Fortunately, I was able to help him to sit down, to start breathing, and then we called for medical help. I don't want to spend and to do all other words here. So what we'll do, we'll probably just click next word, and you will see which words appear here and on which words you have to speak. Okay? So when you understand that if these words are taken from your lesson text, it's actually remarkable because it will automatically help you to answer on the words from the lesson which you repeated 10, 15 times. So you will do it automatically. And you would be surprised that by seeing the word, you can speak on it automatically. Understand? So here you see the average word per minute because I speak in special English. It's only a beginner level because I speak so clearly that this video recording could be used not only by native speakers, but mostly should be used by English teachers and what is most important, by the students. So you see that it is A1, it is serve level, and you also understand that to pass the English standardized test, your fluency rate must be 3 times higher. There is a great advantage in this flow speech fluency testing. in this drill 5, that it is used not only to develop fluency, but to measure it quantitatively. And it is also used to develop automaticity. You know that many foreign students suffer from from the need to pass standardized tests, and very often they have to pass them a few times because they cannot do it immediately. What our speech fluency testing, which is absolutely free and can be done, it is used as a drill, but it can be done by anybody outside of AnyLingo. And it will tell you when you are ready to pass standardized tests. If your fluency test speech rate is below 100, there is no way that you can pass any standardized test. So it is helpful. It saves you time, money, effort, and it also shows you a correct way to develop the needed fluency. I think that is, in a nutshell, what AnyLingo is about, and how you can create lessons, how you can use drill exercises, and how your learners can use the same product, the same AnyLingo web application in the class and after the class. More than that, if they have already intermediate levels and they are interested in vocational training, they do it by putting, when they create this new lesson, you see here, you put here any text. You can put here text about medicine, about computers, about artificial intelligence, about anything what is interesting or which you need to improve your skills. So it can be used not only simply to learn how to speak English, but how to develop certain skills in English. It is a very flexible application which uses completely different mechanism, and I hope you will be able, after maybe you will need to watch recording a few times, to grasp it, because I understand everything what is done here is different. Everything. However, if you understand and know and learn it step by step, you will be able to help your learners. You can expand your knowledge, expand your experience, and don't be afraid that you have to shift from teaching to guiding. Because you are a teacher, we are proud to be teachers. And now you should understand that coaching is much more powerful. It's much more powerful because you allow students to be in the center. You leave the stage because you understand that you are not capable to transfer your knowledge. You have to guide learners in their self-learning revolution. I think that is a very great approach, and it would be helpful to you, your teachers, your colleagues, and your students. That's all what I planned to discuss with you. And